We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Now we the people, we live in one of the most illustrious and powerful nations in the world, the United States of America. We're a proud people, we're a passionate people, and we are a divided people. Illegal immigration, gay rights, affordable health care, education, and social security. All of these are important topics up for discussion. Yet we all cannot help but completely disagree with each other. It was John Adams who said, "There is nothing which I dread so much as a division of the republic into two great parties, each arranged under its leader and concerting measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension, is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution." Our forefathers predicted that division would be the crumbling destruction of liberty. So why is it that we still fight and argue on such topics? What political party do you consider yourself to be?
Republican.
And why is that?
I feel I connect greater with the Republic views as opposed to the Democratic views.
So like what kind of things particularly would you say? Like which?
Particularly, I guess I've always just kind of been more or less on the right side as opposed to the left.
I am independent with Democratic leanings.
And what made you choose to be independent?
I believe that the bi-party system, two-party system does not work best for America and Americans. I don't believe that most people are represented well by either side. I think that most people, if you ask them, are really more centrists than they are leaning left or right.
Come November, every 4 years, we the people put our opinions and our voices to the ultimate test and choose a worthy candidate for our commander-in-chief. But how do people make their decision?
Well, I go to their individual websites, first and foremost, to take a look at what their policies are, what they believe in, their positions, and how they believe that they can implement their positions if they're voted in as president. Obviously, you know, the typical news sources, CNN, although honestly I get most of my news from international sources.
Majority would be from what you see in the news or like what I would read online.
Even in a thriving world of technology, we the people are still limited on how much we know about our candidates. So how can we learn more about them?
I think that the public is very uneducated, and 90% of who leads this country, they don't know a single thing about it, including myself. It's really hard to keep up with. It's hard to understand, and realistically it's hard to agree with people making the decisions. So it's a very, very small percentage of people in the U.S. that know and understand what's going on in politics.
I want to believe that the American public generally has good intentions. I think that the problem is that critical thinking is lacking. I think that people are busy. People hear snippets of information and they don't get the whole story. It's much like watching a video of, something occurring where police brutality, you see what happens from the time the camera's turned on, but you have no idea what's happening before it. So I think that most people just don't have a full picture, whether that's laziness, whether it's, just disinterest, I don't know. I also think that it's very difficult to find good, solid, unbiased information on candidates. And I think the candidates themselves pander a little bit too much to their base. And I think that what happens is most people are left, again, they're not so much left, they're not so much right, they're somewhere in between, and they're left without good candidates to really latch onto. And I think that that's why right now Donald Trump is resonating with a lot of people. I think people are sick of politics as usual. They're sick of the polished politician who, doesn't guffaw, he doesn't make an error, she doesn't make an error in what they say, and I think it's very refreshing to a lot of people to have Donald Trump just come out and say whatever it is that he wants to say. And I think, unfortunately, people are latching onto that without really understanding, his position or other people's positions, and much less, doing the research to figure out how they would actually implement.
I feel like the voting process is just a process because it has to be. I don't think that it's necessarily even relevant. I think that, it's put in place and they take votes, but what they do with the information, truly, who knows?
What people believe that they know about a candidate is going to be what either propels them to go vote for them or not. However, if we're talking about, if what people believe they know is accurate, that's a whole different story. And I think, as we've seen with the current president, that unless you have a House and Senate that's willing to work with you to get things done, it doesn't really matter where you stand as the president. You're not going to get a lot done. The president is basically just a figurehead. He's got veto. Obviously, there's, there's more to the job than that. But in terms of, these candidates standing up and saying, well, this is what I stand for and this is what I support, that's all well and good. But unless you have a legislative branch of government that is willing to actually work with you to ensure that those things get accomplished, they never will.
Honestly, I have no idea who I would vote for today. Honestly, I have not been following it. It's not something that I've been interested in. It's very hard to get interested in something that doesn't quite make sense to you. So right now, it's tough to say.
Regardless of their knowledge and opinion of these presidential candidates, every 4 years, these Americans have the opportunity and the obligation to show up to the local church, school, or boardroom and fill out the names that they believe will make our country better. But will they make the right choice? Only time will tell.
That is also the only way that we're going to deliver on the big issues that we're facing in this country. We can't solve healthcare divided. We cannot create an economy that works for everybody divided. We can't fight terrorism divided. We can't care for our veterans divided. We have to come together. That's what this campaign's about. That's why you're here. That's why we're going to win this election. That's how we're going to change the country.